Hey everyone, going to do a quick update on those newspaper pots or the toilet paper rolls, however you did it. I just want to show you how to take care of everything today. So we're going to go over some watering and some lighting-ish ideas that you might be able to use. Here we've got a bunch of trays that I've been planting. These are actually the original ones that we did in the last video. We've got some cucumbers and tomatoes that we had planted that day. I've got some carrots in here. I've got some watermelon and some corn and some various other things in this one. So let's get into how to water it. So you're going to want some sort of a container, watering can, or some sort of a container to actually hold your water in. And the other thing that we're going to be doing when we're watering is we're actually going to be watering the trays, not the top. Now you might find that the top gets a little dry and you want to add a little bit of water. I use this little squirt jar for that, but if you have a little sprayer as well, a clean sprayer, you could use that too. First thing we need to do is to see if we actually need to water. If we water too much, you can actually start to get a little bit of mold growing in the soil, and that can actually damage your plants. So the way that I test it is I feel the paper, and if the paper is starting to dry out, then definitely it's time to water. And I found, especially with these big guys now, you can see they're starting to get their true leaves on them. These oval leaves were their baby leaves, but now they're getting their true leaves on them. They're starting to use up a lot more water, so I may have to start watering them more frequently. To water these, it would be pretty hard to actually get in here and water them all individually, so what we're actually going to do is we're actually going to water inside the tray. And that's why we had these trays holding water. And I want you to move it around a little bit so you're not pouring all your water in the same spot. I can show you a little bit better in this one right here because we've got some empty space. So by watering the tray, we're going to pour in so the water comes maybe a quarter of the way up the pots. We want to have a couple centimeters of water sitting in here, but we don't want it sitting in water all of the time. Now you also may find that your dirt is drying out up on top. It should be fine because the water will wick up when you're watering inside the tray, but if you want to, like I said, you can go and water very gently in the top. You want to make sure you can see I've got some little corns coming up in these ones, popcorns. You want to make sure that you are watering around the plant so that you don't actually damage the stem, because the stems can be very fragile at this time. Remember that you need to check them every day to make sure. Just touch the paper really gently and see how it feels. If it's moist, you're okay. If it's drying out, add a little bit of water, alright? You're going to find that as it grows more leaves and the plants get bigger, that they're going to be sucking up a lot more water. So even though we've got the same number of pots in each one of these trays, this one's going to be using up a lot more than these ones are right here. So make sure you're checking it nice and frequently. So the other thing we need to think about is light. If you're lucky, you've got a nice south-facing window where the sunlight's going to be coming right in and right onto your plants, and you'll get lots of natural light. But I know not everyone has that. I don't have that here either in my house. So I'm going to give you another option that you could try. You could get a light and set it up near your plants, and that would give them some extra light as well, especially if you had the window and the lamp. You can buy very cheap daylight spectrum bulbs. I got this one at a dollar store. It's actually an LED daylight spectrum bulb, and it was only $3. So you can get these. They're not grow lights, but they're better than just a normal light would be because they give off the same spectrum of light that the sun does, which has a lot more blue and red in it. Those are the spectrums that the plants actually like to eat. And so you could get a light that you shine, and you actually can keep the light very, very close to the plants like this, and especially if it's LED, it's not going to get too hot to the touch. So with all these ones, I've actually got a bunch of lights and some grow lights set up, and I'll take you in there and show you those ones too. Alright, so here we can see my indoor growing setup. I've got two shelves right here with all the plants growing, and you can see my egg carton herbs here and those carrots we planted, and here's our cucumber and tomatoes that we just put back, and you can see I've got these special lights going on them, and these are actual grow lights. You might be able to see in the video itself that these have a little more of a blue tinge to them, a blue, almost a purple tinge, which means they've got more of that blue and red spectrum light that I was talking about. And this keeps this area nice and lit well enough for all of these plants to grow really nicely indoors. So those are the two things that you really want to be paying attention to: getting enough water, getting enough light. You're going to keep these inside where you can control the temperature for 6 to 8 weeks. We planted all these guys right here end of April. So they're going to be inside until about the middle of June before we take them out and transplant them in the garden. And we'll show you that when we do it as well. Hope you guys are doing well with your growing, and we'll see you again real soon.